Hello everyone, it's Daniel Pereira and welcome to another video. This video is talking about subcontractors versus actually W2 employee painters for your painting business, and what is the best way to basically scale your production, or what is the best way to go and which route to actually have a big production team or an actually quality production team. So if you're a painting contractor or a painting business owner looking to scale your production, you're not knowing which way to go, what is the best way, what's the most efficient way, blah blah blah, I'm going to be basically breaking down the pros and cons of which both subcontractors and painters. At the very end, I'm giving my recommendations and what I think is best to do as a company. So with that, make sure to subscribe, push notifications, like the video, comment anything about the video, and I hope you guys enjoy. So with that, let's get right into it. So we're gonna start out with subcontractors, the pros and the cons. The pros, the pros of subcontractors when it comes to your painting business is that they're paid for each project they complete. They're not hourly, paid for each project to provide their own supplies, workspace, tools, van, equipment. So you don't need to have no really upfront money when it comes to even starting painting business, because you can hire subcontractors because they have everything you possibly need. So you don't have to drop like $5,000 on a van and all the equipment you need, because that's a lot of money that can go to market and get more business. Third, tax benefits. You don't really have to worry about the taxes, the payroll tax that comes with employee W2 workers. Again, you only cut them a check for each project that is done by them. And the next one is, again, they're incentivized to get the job sooner because they're paid a portion of the project. How fast they get done their project means they make more money at the end, and so they can get to the next job. Another thing is that they're easy to let go. If a painting contractor, a subcontractor isn't doing well and you just brought them on and they're not doing well, it's very easy to let them go. It's not like a W2 employee. That's more complicated, and that's a very, very big benefit when it comes to scaling up quickly and dropping off a lot faster. And again, another pro is that there's so many of them around. Of course, the hard part is not how many subcontractors, is how many good ones are there. That is the problem. Of course, there's a lot of subcontractors. It's just the hard part is to find the good ones. So with that, and the next point is, it goes with the other point, is much easier to scale. This is a very, very big pro, because there's a lot of painting contractors, there are a lot of painting businesses that I hear that they're booked out months. Not just 2 months, that's pretty standard. I'm talking about 4, 5, 6, 7 months. And they're not able to take on more work because their employees or the current crew they have is just booked out so far away. So this is where subcontractors plays a huge part in actually making a lot more money and stop being booked out so much. Because the good thing about subcontractors, if you have W2s or you're just starting out, is that you're able to bring on a lot of subcontractors quickly. Of course, you have to make sure they're vetted. You're not going to just bring on anybody, but you're able to bring them on much easier than you are to bring employees. It's much harder to find a good employee than it is to find a subcontractor, and also the biggest plus is, again, you can let off a subcontractor much faster than an employee. So you're able to build up subcontractors, a big crew of subcontractors. You're able to build up a big crew of subcontractors. So when you're getting so much work, so much demand, you're able to produce a lot more and stop saying no to people and start saying yes, because you're able to give that work to the crew you just added on. And the main benefit is not that. The main benefit is when demand goes down, you're able to let go of these subcontractors because they're just subcontractors. They're not actually employees that you have to really give them work. If they're part-time or full-time, a certain amount of hours a week. Subcontractors, you're able to bring them on so you can meet more demand, then let them go when demand starts to diminish, so you can just keep filling up your W2 guys or your main guys for work. If any other extra work, you can always hit up the same subcontractors and just give them work. And that's the beauty of it. Scale up and drop out. Scale up and drop out. But with pros, there comes the cons. The cons is that it's very hard to find good ones, like I said, and that stay and are loyal. That's the hardest part when it comes to subcontractors. The good ones that stay and that are loyal. It's very, very hard. The only way you can get a good subcontractor to stay is you give them the best environment to succeed. You pay them well, you pay them on time, there's no headaches or nothing. They'll stay with you because if they know they're going to get consistent work with you, that's all they care about. These subcontractors just want to work and make money. So as long as you can do that, give them a very good environment. Also, when it comes to paying, that's the whole point, is that they're taking their work is to get paid. Then you're going to have them for a very long time. The thing is just to find the good ones to even give them that opportunity is the very, very hard part. Another con is that the quality of the work may suffer because these subcontractors are acting for you and they're probably not really bought into your company's image and brand. So unless you can really do that for your subcontractors and get them bought into your company, the quality of work may suffer. Employees, it's not really the case. Of course, it's not saying there's not employees that don't mess up and stuff, but it's harder to control subcontractors when it comes to quality and probably customer service because they're acting in for themselves and not for the company. And employees the other way around. Unless you're able to do that, then that may suffer for your company. Another con is that people may not trust you or your company because you're going to use subcontractors or employees. That is definitely a con. If you're not able to be in an objection like that on the sales, you're going to lose a lot of jobs because the only way to really beat that con is that you got to say your subcontractors is your guys. Because there's a stigma with subcontractors, so you're going to say it in a way where they're not going to trust you, then it's going to be much harder to actually even market or even sell the job when they know it's subcontractors, it's not actually employee payers, because there's, again, more trust that employees will do the work with more quality and also with more customer service than subcontractors. So you have to really play down that part in the sales because, again, they are painters too. It's just they're employed in a different way. So that wraps up subcontractors. Now the pros and cons with painters. Pros, they're more controlled. Not more control. It's easier. You have more control. It's easy to plan. There's loyalty involved. They care more about the finished product and your company's brand and image. You can build a great team and environment with employees much better than subcontractors, because employees like a big family. Subcontractors, you can't really make family with other subcontractors. It's not really how it works. Employee, you can have a very, very nice company brand. You can make a very nice environment where everybody tries to succeed. You can do a lot of things to basically boost your company's brand, and it's much easier for them to buy into the company than subcontractors. Cons. You have to be able to fill up work. If you're not able to fill up a crew or a full-time painter with work, then you're not, first of all, you can't, there's no point in having employees. That's when you utilize subcontractors until you're able to have a full-time painter and a full-time crew when it comes to employees. That's the biggest con. When you're starting out as a painting business, you don't really have the luxury of able to fill up a crew of painting businesses, fill up a crew of full-time painters for probably a month or 2 months, and then you got to use subcontractors, because until you're able to get consistent amount of work, painters are it's a big liability when it comes to all the things that comes with them that's not with subcontractors. Another con. They're paid for the time they spend in offices or jobs, or they take their sweet time. They're not say they just take their sweet time, but they have no incentive to really get the work done as fast as possible. They'll take their time. Not saying they will not go quick. It's just they're paid hourly. I think a lot of people, when they're paid hourly, will take more time to finish something because they're getting paid to do so. Unless you have a bonus for people to get work done faster, then it's a different story. Then if they're salary or paid like subcontractors, paid per project, they'll get the work done faster. But with taking their time, quality may go up, and not taking their time, quality may go down. But you're getting probably both the bad side of each stick, whatever it is. So you have to try to find the middle of it. But that is also an issue when it comes to W-2 employees, because they are paid for each hour they spend on the job. So they hopefully, as long as you have a good painter, you don't have to be worried about them taking their sweet time. Another point, or another con, it's an accounting nightmare to deal with when you're actually dealing with a massive W-2 crew, employee crew, up to 10 plus employees, unless you have an accountant. It's a very, very big headache when it comes to the payroll tax, the benefits that comes along with it, workers' comp that you have to have when it comes to W-2. It's an accounting nightmare, because you have to make sure all the hourly, all the timestamps, all the when they clock in, clock out is all right. Subcontractors, it's so much easier and so more simple when it comes to scaling a production team, because they are paid per project. You don't have to worry about the time they take. Once you agree on price, you pay them that price. If your crew, your W-2 employee crew, goes over the time you bid it for, now you're losing your profits and you're going into eating your profits. So it really puts a lot of importance on knowing your crew, and also job costs in the right amount of time. But the accounting nightmare is a very big deal when hopefully you have an account by this time when you have 10 plus employees. But the payroll tax, everything goes along with this it's a big nightmare, a very big nightmare. That goes along with the next 2 points I have here. Worker comp and payroll taxes. That goes along with the accounting nightmare. That is a big thing you have to pay extra on top of, and that's hopefully you kind of are putting that in your bid price, so that will help you negate the cost of these payroll taxes. And on the worker comps, you have to pay for, because you had W2 over subcontractors, because subcontractors, they should have their own W2. The next one, again, it goes along with the accounting nightmare. You have to pay for their benefits. If you should probably supply benefits, paid vacation days, 6 days, health benefits, which can be very expensive when it adds up, and you probably are going to need to do so, because you want to attract and keep the best employees. You need to have these type of benefits so they don't go to your competitors, who probably will. Of course, that's going to make it so much more competitive to have them, and that's why it's such a headache to try to scale W2 employees over subcontractors, because again, it's that big headache. That's why only when you're an established business that you're getting work basically all the time, you should not have W2s, because you're not able to charge the price you need to really be profitable with W2s over subs. This goes to my last 2 points. Last two cons for painters is that they're much harder to get rid of and much harder to scale. It is very hard bringing a lot of employee, part-time or full-time painters all at once, then drop them off right after. That's one, I don't think that's really ethical in my opinion. And that's where the point of subs come in. When demand is at its highest throughout the year, because it's painting is seasonal and fluctuational, subs are so vital when it comes to saying more or saying yes to more jobs, because you're able to tack them on and then drop them off, because you're not obligated to get them work. For W2 employees, you're obligated to get them work because they're employing to your company. So it's so hard to scale, because one, it's very hard to find very good employees, and it's so hard to get rid of at the same time. So if you get them on, you're kind of obliged to keep them on and get them as much work as possible. So if you're not having consistent amount of leads all year round to have the extra painter, it's going to be very hard just to scale up over time, because you're not able to bring on the extra painter when it matters most or throughout the whole year. And that really defeats the purpose in a way. So after reviewing the pros and cons, or talking about the pros and cons of both painters and subcontractors, what I personally recommend to go with is subcontractors for numerous reasons. Easier to scale, manage, pay, and that's what all the big companies are doing to hit over $1 million in revenue a month. Not a month, sorry, a year. Shutter Pro, Fresh Coat, 360, 5-star, all those big franchisees and all the top painting companies, the 1% of 1% painting companies, they all utilize subs as their main production. Why? Because you're able to bring on so many crews and then take them off when you don't need them. Employees, it's good to have employees because you're able to build a company's brand with them. You're able to have vans with your logo on it and designs. That is great. But your bulk of your production should be from subs when it comes to being efficient as possible with the least amount of headache and bottleneck in your business. Should be with subs. It's so much easier to do a lot of work with basically subcontractors over painters. But what I really recommend, and what I think is the best way to go about it, is use subcontractors and a hybrid of painters. That's what I was just going on about. The best way to do is a hybrid, not just have one of one and one of the other. Of course, if you're just starting out a painting business, I don't think you should have a W2 employee right off the bat when you just start a company, when you don't have no leads coming in. It's to use subcontractors at the very start. Once you're able to have efficient leads coming in to fill up a painting crew of W2s for 2 months always, then that's good. Then you're able to try to find W2 employees. But the most efficient way to go about it, to scale up and to drop off just all year round, the best way to go about it when it comes to just straight up efficiency is subcontractors. Hands down, all the top companies are doing it. It's just the best way to go about it. But I think the best way for a company's image and brand is to have a hybrid, but to also have more subcontractors at the end of the day, because it's going to be much easier to, when demand is at its peak, to bring on a lot of people to produce more work that you weren't able to drop them off when the winter comes or when slow season comes in your industry or your time of year, wherever your location is. That's just the best way to go about it. That's the pros of subcontractors and painters, basically W2 employees. Those are the pros and cons. However you want to display your company's brand, your image, is the way you should pick either one. You have the pros and cons, is however you want to do it. You want to be more efficient when it comes to managing, easier to scale, to pay them out. It's hands down subcontractors. When you want to build a better company brand, you want to have your van, you want to have a logo on it, you have it like wrapped up, then W2. Because they're really working for you. It's easier for them to basically buy into your company's brand and your image, so probably your quality also goes up other than the subs. So the main way to take away from this is whatever situation you are in with your company, what is the best way to go about it? Should I hire subs? Is it a temporary problem? So basically, if it's a short-term issue, subs. If it's a long-term issue, it's employees. So basically, if the short-term issue is that, oh, you're saying no to so much work, use subs. Long-term issue, you want to be able to take on more work because you're saying no, and it's literally able to take on or add on 2 W2s, and you'll be able to be just fine all year round and be giving them work non-stop, then hire W2s. It's just going to bode well. So whatever is your situation, look at the pros and cons, how you want to structure your company. When it comes to managing all this, you have the pros and cons. Of course, there's also other videos to look out for more pros and cons. But my recommendation is that. So with that wraps up the video. My name is Daniel. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, push notification, comment anything about. But with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all all in the next one.